I think it was a combination of things. Among those was the fact that the department here had accomplished something that's extraordinarily rare and extraordinarily important, and that is they had managed to earn AACSB accreditation while still a department. That's something that hasn't happened for more than a handful of schools globally. And I think that told me an awful lot about the dedication of the faculty and the support of the senior leadership of the institution for quality business and economic education here. Then there were some intangibles. Things like when I came to campus for my extensive campus interview, walking across the campus, I noticed that students would look at you, look you in the eye, smile, and say hi. That told me that this was a place where people felt like they had a place, they were welcoming, they were open, and that felt like a place that I'd like to spend part of my career. And then as I got to know more about the direction that the college was going and the importance of articulating a brand that is compelling for people to come to Brockport and invest in Brockport, that struck me as something that would fit really well with my skill set. So it was a combination of things, really. Everyone's been wonderful, very, very welcoming as I expected, very, very hospitable, concerned about how I'm doing and how things are working out. As in any major career change, it's kind of a bit like drinking from a fire hose. I mean, there's a lot more information that's made available to me than I can possibly process yet. But people have been very, very straightforward, very forthcoming, very generous, and very patient, which is important too. So I found it to be, so far, a very, very rewarding move. Well, I think a couple of them are fairly obvious. It's to get to know the faculty, the school, its history, its strengths a little bit better. I mean, you can only learn so much through the interview process. And I think you have to sort of live in a place and spend some time with people before you really kind of get to know them. And also, I think one of my goals is to give people here a sense of who I am better and what my strengths are, what I'm interested in. But I can say there are a number of exciting opportunities here. They do center around a couple of things, including this whole question of branding. You know, what does it mean to participate in an education at Brockport in business or economics, either as a faculty member, as a student, as a potential investor in the school and its future. All of those are exciting things to sort of discover and to articulate. And then I think another sort of obvious goal will be to organize the school, because it's the last school academic unit that the college has stood up. And I've done it before at other institutions, but there's no one model that fits every place. So I've got to figure out, working with the faculty in particular, what's the best model for how to organize this new activity, this new entity, the School of Business and Economics. I think it depends. It depends on what the college as a whole wants to accomplish. It depends on what the business community needs from the school. And it depends on what the faculty, students, alums, and other stakeholders are interested in investing their energy and time in. It's way too early to know how those questions will be answered yet, at least for me. But I know that all those pieces have to be there. And I think a wise dean will listen a lot, particularly in the first few months, to sort of figure out what's a likely scenario for the future. That will lead to some sort of a strategic plan, I think, for the school. And that strategic plan will be consonant with the college's strategic plan. It'll have some components in it that I think are unique, going to this whole question of branding. It'll also have, I think, some exciting elements that maybe it takes someone with an outside perspective to sort of ask the naive question about, and to sort of cultivate the conversation. So ultimately, I think it's about creating a sustainable trajectory for the school that everyone can be proud of. I know the following. I want students and prospective students to know that business at Brockport is important, both to the senior leadership of the institution, certainly to the faculty in the School of Business, and to me. That spending time, energy, and resources in earning an education here, and I said earning, not getting, earning an education here, is absolutely a great decision. That as the school itself strengthens its reputation and its brand, that can only accrue to help the value of the credential, the degree that students leave with. And that I think that students need to recognize that in today's environment, particularly the very complex and very competitive economic environment, they are responsible for their own learning to a much greater degree than ever before. And they are basically kind of like portfolio managers. And gaining an education here is one important step in building that portfolio, demonstrating to potential employers and to potential business partners that you're serious, that you're well educated, that you're focused, and that you have associated with really great faculty and superior students. I think those are the kinds of things that I think any message that a dean would give about, who's only been here 2 weeks, that would give about this new school would have to be, I think that would have to be part of the message. And I would also hope that students would see this as their school, that they have a stake in how well we answer the questions that I've talked about a little bit today and the questions that will come up, but that they shouldn't be passive about it, that they really need to be engaged in helping us get the right answers, and then committed to helping us follow through on the strategic plans we put together. Well, I think that I've looked over the list of alums from business and economics in the past, and there's already, I think, a real critical mass of people who have a stake in the future of the school. I also, my conclusions about the Rochester business community, Greater Rochester, and if you will, Western New York, is that it's on the ascendancy, that there are a lot of exciting opportunities that are developing and are beginning to be realized in this community. I think that a school like Brockport can, particularly the School of Business at Brockport, should be a critical player, someone at the table in conversations around where do we take the community, how do we develop the human capital and retain the human capital that's necessary to continue economic development and to grow the wealth base and the expertise base of Greater Rochester. How can a school like the School of Business and Economics at Brockport partner with other educational institutions who are already here, not to compete with them, but rather to add something to the mix that either it doesn't fit their particular expertise or frankly fits our expertise better. So I think that's a real exciting part of this job, and I think it's a real exciting part of the future for the school here. And I think the time is exactly right. This is the time to create the school. If you think about it from the external perspective of what does Rochester's general business community need, I think it needs the school now.